How's it going, everyone? King Black Tooth here again, and again I've got some more new cards for you. So not as many as the last time, about 4 I think, but they got sent to me again anonymously. Now it does start to sound like I'm just getting these from somewhere I shouldn't be, but you know, truthfully they got sent to me anonymously. And before this video is going to go live, I am going to double check with Gwent staff that I can actually post this video. So if it's up, that means I was allowed to post it, okay? So let's just go straight into it, okay? So the first one is something we have all seen before a little bit. Odrin, okay? 5 strength character card, has the agile ability, or if it's still called that, where it can go on any row, okay? And it has the flame icon. I'm starting to think this flame icon might mean that basically this card has an ability. So check out the description. This card's ability is move to a random row on your side of the battlefield at the start of your turn. Add 1 strength to all non-gold units on that row. Okay, so first impressions are this card is nothing really new compared to what we saw in previously, apart from that it's been nerfed a little bit. Only adds 1 strength to all non-gold units on the row. However, because of the wounding and destroying, which is permanent debuff, no matter if they, you know, move or whatever, I'm starting to think that this guy is permanent +1 strength to all on that row, okay? If it's not permanent +1 strength, it's a pretty crap card, okay? Only affects non-golden cards. He's only 5 strength and +1 is pretty lousy, I feel. However, if it is permanent, he suddenly becomes a pretty good card. He moves from row to row and gives +1 strength to people on that row, so he's constantly buffing your row with permanent 1 strength. Now, the biggest question is, does it stack? Can he go to the melee row, buff them, move to the siege row, buff them with 1 strength, go back to the melee row, buff them with permanent 1 strength again? The possibility is there, because how many turns do you get? Since they're trying to remove spies and things that can stall the game, you're most likely going to get probably, what, average 4 or 5 turns? Maybe, you know, if you're really pushing for this round, you can get 9 turns, and you won't always land on a row that might have units. So it might not be abusable, but if it does stack, he becomes a lot better and actually a really pretty decent card. I'd like to think that it is permanent strength and that it does stack, because so far all of these character cards that are seemingly coming out are starting to get really crazy good, and I'd like that. I'd like them to be crazy good because you only get 6 of them. But obviously the more crazy good they get, the more chance that people that draw character cards with their opening hand are going to win, because they've got more powerful cards, which you couldn't really do much about apart from redraw. But yeah, I think it's permanent strength. I'd like to think it is, and if so, that's a pretty damn good card. So the next card is Alzur's Thunder. This is a bronze special card. Choose a non-gold unit on the battlefield and remove 6 strength from it. So this is going on more into the wounding aspect, so please don't moan at it yet. Let CD Projekt Red, you know, try and evaluate this whole wounding, destroying thing and see if it kind of works out well. This is piling more onto that, and it seems like a bit of a risk reward versus Scorch, to be honest. So you could take the Scorch, which targets the highest strength cards. You could get more strength worth than 6, but this allows you to choose any card that is non-gold. So you could choose a resilient card that is stuck in the middle and reduce it down to 1, and that's a permanent -6. So the resilient card is no longer a massive threat. So this allows you to choose cards which is always going to be usable, whereas Scorch, you could get more strength than just this 6, but could also be quite less usable, okay, because you might have the highest strength and then you can't really use it. So I like the risk reward between this and Scorch, and they work 2 different aggressive modes, which is really nice to me. And don't forget, 6 strength is quite a few bronze and silver cards. There's not an awful lot of silver cards which are over 6. There's quite a few though so far. We've only seen a short amount, but the Giant Toad, the Ice Giant, Nithrel, these are all silver cards which are over 6. They start at 7 and maybe get higher. But bronze cards, 6 strength is quite a lot. So you'll probably be able to target one and send it down to 0, and that'll probably change it into a destroyed kind of thing, but we don't know whether that means they get removed or whether they just stay on the board. and destroyed means something like the Berserker. If it gets destroyed, it doesn't change, you know, might stop abilities. That might be a thing. If it's destroyed, it might just stop abilities from being activated, but it still stays on the board, so you can buff it again and activate its abilities again. I would really like that a lot. That sounds really good. Revelation, guys. Azur's Thunder. Azur's Thunder, let's go. Right, the next one is a very, very weird one, but I really like it a lot. The Reaver Hunter. 4 strength, bronze card on the range row, and it's loyal as well. And it's got another icon down the bottom, okay? This is 2. Now, this means, we'll figure out what that means after we've read the description, because it will give us a clue. Add 1 strength to all other copies of this unit, wherever they are. After 2 turns, play a copy of this unit from your deck. So it's got a timer of 2 turns, which is obviously what this 2 means. So the timer is now independent of the strength, like it was for Camby. So that's decent. And so basically, this is 4 strength, but as soon as you play it down, all Reaver Hunters will be 5 strength, because it gets add 1 strength to it wherever they are. So in your hand, deck, or graveyard. And it's only your copies. It does say your copies. And after 2 turns, it plays the other Reaver Hunter. Okay, and then the Reaver Hunter has this ability again, so you'll get another +1 strength on all your Reaver Hunters. So all Reaver Hunters will then go up to 6, and then another 2 turns, and another one will come out of your deck most likely, and then it will put them all to 7. So they'll all end on 7 strength, okay? And the timer will go out and nothing will happen because you won't have any more, because it's only a bronze, so you can only have 3. So this is kind of like a slow muster, okay? You place one down, and 2 turns later, the next one comes out and buffs them all a little bit, and then 2 turns later, the next one comes out and buffs them all a little bit. So it's a slow muster. Your opponent has the chance to stop this by, you know, scorching it, or maybe destroying the card with a wounding type effect that might stop its ability and such, which is really good. You know, that gives strategy, and so you've got to protect these things. But also, 2 turns we know is on your next turn. We've seen footage in the Gamescom build where a Dun Banner Heavy Cavalry will get promoted in 2 turns, and it happened to be the opponent's turn is 1, and then your next turn. So after 2 turns is effectively on your next turn, you know, draw the other one from your deck. I like that card a lot. It's like a very slow muster, and it's got a lot of strategy on it, and they all get to 7 strength. If you full test one, they'll all go to 8 strength each, and it's just a very interesting card. I really like it a lot. The final card we've got to see is the Field Medic, and this artwork is really something else. I don't know if this is going to just about reach the limit of this PG-13 or whatever the classification is now, but this is some gruesome artwork. 3 strength, bronze card, and is on the melee and loyal, and its ability is quite an odd one actually. Pick a random non-gold unit from your graveyard and play it. So they've made it random. It's 3 strength by itself, so that's not inherently bad. I think they've reduced the control ability on it, so it's harder to get what you want. You have to build the board around this card in order to get what you want, because it's a bronze card. So bronze cards aren't supposed to be as good as, you know, silver cards like Neneki, who can control what she pulls out. And it's not supposed to be as good as gold cards like Shani, who can pull what she wants out and promotes them. So I think you're losing control because it's a bronze card. It's a reasonable chance you'll get something you want. You can't. It might make it so the Field Medic is more likely to be played in perhaps round 2, or perhaps even round 1 after something has been scorched or epidemicked, so that you can start to guarantee things. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to have knee-jerk reactions to the random, whereas it just means that this card might need to be played a little bit earlier and not on round 3 where you can choose exactly what you want to come out and chain medics and all that. 3 strength is decent. It used to be 0. And don't forget, guys, I need to state that CD Projekt Red is pretty much changing cards on a near daily basis. Okay, so if there's something in this particular list that you didn't like, don't worry, guys. I'm sure CD Projekt Red are changing things all the time, testing out, see whether things work. But Field Medic just feels like it's supposed to be played a bit earlier, because you need to guarantee what's in your graveyard a little bit more, which is good. I like that idea. Okay, it's 3 strength by itself, so it's not a complete waste. even if you don't get something that you particularly want. Okay guys, so that is just the short amount of cards I've got to show you, and I think there were some really interesting cards. I mean, I think a lot of people are a bit worried about this wounding and destroying. I think I may have aided that a little bit by speculating on what destroyed means. It might, you know, go into the graveyard. In the revelation that we had in this video, I really like the ability of the idea of the destroyed cards staying on the board, so you can buff them again with encourage and stuff, but their abilities stop being activated. I really like that ability a lot, because then it creates like a back and forth between a player. If there's a really strong ability on the board, you can stop it with like Alzor's Thunder, but then I may say, oh, I really want that ability again. I'm going to buff that card specifically with an encourage and get that ability back. And yeah, so thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. This is it's a fun time, and let me know what you think, guys.